What's going on, basketball fans? My name is Stephen Pope. Welcome to Eat Sleep Sports. Today, we're going to be previewing the 2014-2015 NBA season. So let's go ahead and start off. Let's look at this little picture right here. So, the biggest move of the NBA offseason obviously was LeBron James going back to Cleveland and Kevin Love going to Cleveland. Now, yeah, there's a new big three, but are they really going to be, the best team in the league? Or are the Spurs going to be the best? Or Chicago? OKC's hindered right now because of the injury of Kevin Durant. Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks doesn't look like they're going to be great. And the Los Angeles Lakers with Kobe Bryant, they don't look great either. Or will the San Antonio Spurs have a repeat and go back to the NBA Finals and win once again? Big questions, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to go through every single team. So let's start off with the San Antonio Spurs. Pretty much the same roster that they had last season. The thing with this team is they have endless rotations, endless situational lineups, endless plays. They're a hard team to defend and match up against because no matter what you do, they can always switch up in the middle of the game, and then you're just not ready for it. They have Boris Diaw and Tim Duncan at once, or Splitter and Duncan. You're gonna have to put in bigger, like with Miami, they could not match up against them. So in terms of matchups, San Antonio Spurs are still the best team in the NBA. I feel Chicago being the second because Chicago is crazy, and they're going to be such a great team if Derrick Rose is healthy. Even if he's not, they're going to be a solid 3 or 4 seed in the East. So San Antonio Spurs, in my opinion, they're probably going to go ahead and make it to the Western Conference Finals, but we'll talk about that later on. So let's go ahead and talk about the Los Angeles Clippers now. So the Los Angeles Clippers, CP3, they added Spencer Hawes to that. They have Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. Any team that Chris Paul is on, they're going to be great, right? So Chris Paul, one of the best point guards in NBA history, solid player. And, he averages like 20 points per game, 10 plus assists, right? 18 points per game, 10 plus assists. And the guy just knows how to run a team. But the thing is, him and Spencer Hawes, I don't think it's going to work because Chris Paul is more of a pick and roll player. And Spencer Hawes is not really a pick and roll player. He's more of a post guy. And, he's not... The Los Angeles Clippers are like a run and gun team. They're constantly moving with Jamal Crawford coming off the bench. They're constantly moving around nonstop. And I don't think Spencer Hawes is a great fit. I also heard Stephen A. Smith say that on ESPN First Take. You guys can go check that out too. They talk about basketball and they're really good at it. But so the Los Angeles Clippers, I'd say they'd probably be a solid 4 or 5 seeded in the Western Conference. Now let's go on and talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, they recently acquired LeBron James, someone that can go up there and average 38 and 8, because he has done that before in his career. There was one season when he averaged like 32, 8, and 7, and he's just going to be one of the best players of all time. Then you have Kevin Love, who averaged 26 and 12 last year. Then you have Kyrie, who averaged, I think, like 18 and 9 last year. So, nice big three, right? But this is my worry with the Cleveland Cavaliers, is their defense and their depth. They have Matthew Dellavedova, great backup point guard for Kyrie. Hell, he could even be a starting point guard in my opinion. But obviously it's not going to happen with Kyrie Irving, the superstar on your team. But he's a great point guard in my opinion. Matthew Dellavedova, he has size, speed, quickness. He can play defense. Did you guys see what Dirk Nowitzki did to him last night? That was hilarious. But Matthew Dellavedova is great. Sean Marion is old, but he can still play defense, which is good. So when, let's say Cleveland's matching up against New York Knicks and LeBron's holding Melo, when LeBron goes on the bench and Melo's still in the game, they can put Sean Marion on Carmelo Anthony. So there, LeBron James doesn't have to stress so much about defending a superstar the entire game. So they can, have him like slow down throughout the course of the game until the fourth quarter, and then put that pressure on Melo or Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a great acquirement. Tristan Thompson, he was already on the Cavaliers. Anderson Varejao, great players right there. My problem is they have Brendan Haywood coming off the bench. He's old, slow, and my problem with the Cavaliers is it doesn't look like they have a lot of depth. I mean, their starting lineup, I think they have to switch up their starting lineup because if you look at it, they have Kyrie Irving, Dion Waiters, LeBron James, and I'm not sure if it's going to be Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love or Anderson Varejao, Kevin Love. So we're just gonna say it's Anderson Varejao, Kevin Love, right? So that's their starting lineup, but that's too much power in one lineup. That's too much power in one lineup. Same thing with the New York Knicks, but we'll talk about them later on in this video. But that's just too much in one lineup, in my opinion. And it's not gonna be well. It's not gonna go well at all if they have that starting lineup, because I feel Dion Waiters, yeah, he's a great player, but he's more of like a J.R. Smith or Jamal Crawford. 6-man, come off the bench, can explode. I feel like having Kyrie, LeBron, and Love in one lineup, it's already too much, because too much scoring, and that's where I felt were issues with Miami Heat, and that's why I felt like Miami didn't really get the three-peat. I mean, if you look at Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and when he had Steve Kerr, they were so great because Michael Jordan did most of the scoring, but they weren't fighting over scoring, and so too many players, in my opinion, used to having the ball in their hands. Kevin Love, Kyrie, and LeBron. I feel like it's gonna work. Obviously, they're gonna make the finals a couple of times, but I don't know if it's gonna work with their starting lineup like that. I feel like they have too much power in their starting lineup. I feel like Dion Waiters should come off the bench and just have Kyrie get a good backup two guard, which they don't have. Kyrie, they need to acquire some free agents or make some trades, because they don't have that much depth, in my opinion, and I'm a little worried about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Or even sign Boobie Gibson again. Daniel Gibson, he can shoot, spread the floor. Have him starting with Kyrie Irving in your backcourt, and you'll be good. I'm not too worried about their front court. Front court looks great. Anderson Varejao, Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love. Brandon Haywood, he can play he can play defense. He can't really score, and he's gonna slow down the game a lot. So I feel like he'll be good against a team that likes to run and gun, like the Los Angeles Clippers or like the Golden State Warriors. But let's continue to keep going. Let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, another team that, in my opinion, doesn't have great depth. It looks like it on paper, but they really don't. So Kevin Durant is gonna be out for, I think, 3 weeks. So I think actually 6 weeks, right? So he's out for 6 weeks, so he'll be back sometime in December, which is unfortunate for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're not going to have a great start to the season. Yes, Russell Westbrook's statistics are going to be something along the lines of like 25, 5, and 5 probably. But at the end of the day, he's not Kevin Durant. He cannot carry the team. He's a great point guard, don't get me wrong, but he's not that great yet. You know what I'm saying? I have faith in him, but I don't think he's going to be able to carry the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're going to have a terrible season to start off. They're going to start to pick up, but I feel like OKC is going to finish around 4th, 5th, maybe 6th in the Western Conference this year, just because of Kevin Durant being injured for 6 weeks, missing like a month and a half. So unfortunately, that's the way it's going to be. It's not like how Kevin Durant was just dominating teams for like 2 straight months when Westbrook was injured last year. Now it's like, Westbrook's going to have to pick up all the slack, because who else do they have? Thabo, Cephalosha, and that's pretty much it that can score. You know what I'm saying? Jeremy Lamb, yeah, but he's not really a solid scorer. In my opinion, they just don't have great depth. It may look like it on paper. Same thing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they just don't. But let's keep going. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. All right. So they're an elite team, one healthy. This is the year Derrick Rose stays off crutches. Hopefully. It has to be right. And if Pau Gasol can stay active and provide interior offense, the Bulls should be an elite squad in the East. Of course, though, my problem with the Chicago Bulls is how are they going to manage their lineups and their rotations? You have Doug McBuckets, Doug McDermott. You have Derrick Rose, Kirk Hinrich, Aaron Brooks. So you have 3 solid point guards. I like their point guard rotation. They can run Aaron Brooks and Derrick Rose on the court at the same time, or Derrick Rose and Kirk on the court at the same time. Then you got Jimmy Butler, who had an incredible preseason this year. Just incredible. I think he averaged something along the lines of like 23 points per game in the preseason. He's a great player. Then you also got Joakim Noah. I call him a point center because he can pass, he can rebound, he plays defense. Great player. But my only issue is, how are they going to manage all of this? I think Doug McDermott is coming off the bench, and I don't think that's a smart decision. I think Jimmy Butler should come off the... Well, I understand why they're doing it because he's a rookie. He hasn't really proved himself yet. But then again, he led the NCAA in scoring last season, didn't he? So, in my opinion, it's going to be tough for them to try and find a rotation that works. But yet again, there's 82 seasons in the game. They play in the Eastern Conference. They'll be good. They'll probably be 1, 2, or 3, a 1, 2, or 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, fighting against Cleveland and Miami. So let's keep going. Let's talk about the Portland Trail Blazers. LaMarcus Aldridge, Damian Lillard. Beast duo right there. So let's talk about them. It's hard to imagine the Blazers taking a step backwards, but in my opinion, I think they are. Damian Lillard has an edge. He's tall, he's strong, and he's the type of guy you can strap a franchise to a shooting arm because he can shoot. He had like three buzzer beaters in the playoffs. So, and LaMarcus Aldridge, I think he worked with Hakeem the Dream over the summer, and he's looking like Hakeem the Dream too. So I'm really excited. They have Nicholas Batum, who's also great. Wesley Matthews is also great. They also recently acquired Chris Kaman. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped for the Portland Trail Blazers. I'm excited to see what they got and what's gonna happen with them. Now let's go on to the Golden State Warriors. Stephen Curry, Andre Iguodala, the Splash Brother, Klay Thompson, David Lee. Let's go. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. I think, again, they'll have a 50-win season. Unfortunately for Mark Jackson, they fired him. I'm not too sure why they did that. I disagree with that decision. But everyone has their own opinion. I don't know what was going on in the front office, but I think it was a bad decision. Anyway, Steve Kerr, their new coach, is promising ball movement. And the real problem for the Warriors is a thin front court because they have Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and I cannot remember their backup point guard, to be honest. But yeah, so Andrew Bogut is injured, which sucks for them. But David Lee's also still 15 and 10 type player, Mr. Double-Double. So they'll have 50 wins again, but I don't think they're going to do much work in the playoffs, in all honesty. Now let's talk about Houston Rockets. So let's go. So James Harden, Dwight Howard, in my opinion, they're not top 10s. They're not top 10 players. I feel like Dwight Howard, he used to be, but he's slacked off a lot. He hasn't improved throughout his career at all. I mean, if you look at it, when he came into the league with the Orlando Magic, he plays exactly the same now. He's never improved his jump shot. He's never tried to work on his footwork, his post game, his hook shot. Really, all he is a pick and roll player and throw the lob or you just bounce past him and he dunks it. That's all he is. And a defender, that's what made his career. But, if you want to be known as one of the greatest, you have to improve. And really what's going to hinder him is he doesn't have a great shot. He can't shoot. He can't spread the floor. He can't take a 15-foot jump shot. He can't even hit free throws, like 50% from the free throw line. And then you got James Harden, who in my opinion is really overrated. Yeah, he can score, but then again, he had to score. They only had Chandler Parsons, Patrick Beverly, and Dwight Howard that could score last year on the Houston Rockets. Jeremy Lin too, but now Jeremy Lin is on the Los Angeles Lakers, but he doesn't play defense. And in my opinion, he's just an overrated player, and he does not deserve to be in the top 10. Now, did you guys see what ESPN did to Carmelo Anthony and Kobe Bryant? Oh my gosh. They literally said, all right, they put 50 greatest players in the NBA right now. Can you believe Carmelo Anthony was like number 17? I could not believe it, honestly. They had Marc Gasol over Carmelo Anthony. Melo is, in my opinion, the third or fourth best in the league. It's obviously LeBron, KD, CP3, maybe, and then Melo, Yeah, his team didn't play well last year. That doesn't mean he's not a great player, you know what I'm saying? It's not his fault that his team had no depth and his coaching staff was falling apart and front office was falling apart and so many issues going on. Same thing happened with the Los Angeles Clippers. It's not their fault, you know what I'm saying? So they really just violated Carmelo Anthony. But anyway, back to Houston. I think Houston will be a solid team, maybe 5th or 6th seed. Let's go to Dallas now. Dallas Mavericks. They're reinventing themselves to compete despite bringing a true second superstar. Now, guess who they have now, guys? Chandler Parsons from the Houston Rockets. They got Tyson Chandler from the New York Knicks, Raymond Felton from the New York Knicks, and Jameer Nelson from the Orlando Magic. And of course, you already know they still got Dirk Nowitzki, and they still got Monte Ellis. And so this team is going to be crazy. The head coach is still Rick Carlisle. And I'm Tyson Chandler and Dirk Nowitzki back together. They won a championship in 2011. I'm excited, man. The Dallas Mavericks are going to be something else this year. They're going to be maybe a third or fourth seed in the Western Conference this year because Jameer Nelson, all-star point guard. He just didn't play on a good team for the last couple of seasons. Raymond Felton has the ability to be a solid point guard, but he's plagued with his own stupidity, and he just doesn't work hard enough, in my opinion. Chandler Parsons, superstar in the making. Dirk Nowitzki and Monte Ellis already superstars, so they're gonna be a great team. I'm really pumped to see Dallas play this year. It's really exciting. Now let's talk about the Washington Wizards. Y'all already know Kevin Durant might go to the Wizards next season. Tell me what y'all think. Will Kevin Durant go to the Washington Wizards next season? Now, let's talk. The Washington Wizards, John Wall, Marcin Gortat, Nene, Paul Pierce, this team, Bradley Beal, this team is going to be amazing. So, obviously, Bradley Beal is injured, and he's recovering from a wrist injury, but I believe he's only going to miss a couple of weeks to a month. So, he's going to be good. The Washington Wizards is going to be 4th or 5th in the Eastern Conference. So excited for that. Oh, by the way, all of my ideas and opinions are unbiased because even though I'm a New York Knicks fan, I don't know. This year, we're going to be so trash. But anyway, let's keep going. My favorite, Goran Dragic, my favorite point guard right now, and the Phoenix Suns. Now, obviously, Goran Dragic, superstar in the making, up-and-coming superstar. Eric Bledsoe. I don't know if he got traded. I think he might have. I don't know. But anyway, they got Eric Bledsoe, Gerald Green. This team is going to be a solid 7th or 8th seed. I felt so bad for them last year. They missed the playoffs by half a game because I believe it was Dallas. Yeah, because San Antonio was 1, Dallas was 8. Yeah, because Dallas won the last 2 games, and Phoenix went 1-1 the last 2 games. And unfortunately, they lost. They didn't make the playoffs by half a game, which is unfortunate for Goran Dragic and his Phoenix Suns. But I have a feeling Goran Dragic is going to beast and feast this year, and I have a feeling they're going to make the playoffs this year. Let's talk about the Denver Nuggets, Ty Lawson, Nate Robinson. Let's look. All right, so they got JaVale McGee, J.J. Hickson, Aaron Aflalo, Kenneth Faried, Ty Lawson, Nate Robinson, Danilo Gallinari. He is finally healthy. He is healthy. We all remember when he played on the New York Knicks. He was a beast. Now I feel like this is going to be his team. Him and Kenneth Faried can be a great backcourt. Obviously, Gallinari playing that 3 spot and Faried playing that 4 spot. And then JaVale McGee and J.J. Hickson, who's also great. J.J. Hickson used to play with LeBron James. Let's go on to so Denver, I say maybe anywhere between 5 to 8, maybe. All right, so let's talk about the New Orleans Pelicans. Anthony Davis. Wow, this is crazy. So people are already talking about Anthony Davis possibly winning MVP this year. I don't know where those ideas came from because he's great, but he ain't that great just yet. I feel like just because somebody can score, they overrate him so much. Just like James Harden. Yeah, he can score 26 a game, but who you want on your team? Would you rather have James Harden or Carmelo Anthony? Or James Harden or LeBron James? Or James Harden and Kevin Durant? You know what I'm saying? But New Orleans, I'd say they'll be solid. They'll be a solid team. They'll be good. I feel maybe 7th seed. They'll be solid. Memphis Grizzlies. Mark Gasol. Oh my. Mike Conley. I'm excited to see Memphis play as well. I hope they have a great season like they did in 2012 when they were the 1st seed in the Western Conference for a while, and then for some reason they traded away Rudy Gay, which is, in my opinion, the stupidest idea ever because that's the closest they've ever had to a superstar. But they traded him away, and now, they've rebuilt over the last couple of seasons, and now they're looking good again. And I feel they'll probably be a solid 5 to 8 seed team, in the Western Conference. Now let's go on to the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Garnett, he's old. Darren Williams, he's getting up there in age, plagued by injuries, unfortunately. But, I'm from Brooklyn. I like the Nets. I like the Knicks. Knicks are my favorite team, though. But Nets, I'd say they'll probably be 4th or 5th in the Eastern Conference, maybe 6th at the most. They'll be a solid team, But then again, with what happened with Jason Kidd, I just hope there's stability in their front office, because what happened with that Jason Kidd situation, the reason why I feel like it didn't work is because Jason Kidd came the same year Kevin Garnett did. He played with Kevin Garnett. He played, not with him. He played against Kevin Garnett. He played against Paul Pierce. So when you have a peer like that, automatically now he has control over you. It's like two worlds mesh, and you know how Kevin Garnett is. So that's why I feel like it didn't work. Let's go on with the Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry, who I hope is going to be an all-star this time. And DeMar DeRozan is also one of the league's elite. So once again, to the Toronto Raptors, I say maybe fourth to sixth seed in the Eastern Conference. They're going to be a great team. They would have beat the Brooklyn Nets last season in the playoffs in Game 7. If Kyle Lowry didn't force that shot up, then he would have passed it to DeMar DeRozan, who was wide open on the wing. But he didn't. It's all good. Now let's talk about the underdogs this season, man. This team is going to surprise all of you guys. It's not going to surprise me, because I already know they're going to be one of the best teams in the NBA. The Miami Heat under Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Have you guys seen their new acquirements? They acquired Danny Granger, Luol Deng. Oh my gooey. Are you serious? Danny Granger, Luol Deng. We're talking about Danny Granger, who used to average 24. Now he's actually healthy. I probably average like 10 to 20 points per game, maybe around 15. And then you have Luol Deng, who can average like 15 and 8. Play solid defense. Great defense, that is. Then you got Dwayne Wade, who's finally back to Wade. He's not going to be vintage Wade that we saw in 06, 07, 08, 09, or 2010, but he's going to be Dwayne Wade. And we got Chris Bosh, who's finally at the control again, who has control of the cockpit, the steering wheel now of this team. Like in Toronto, 24-10, that's what we're going to see again. Chris Bosh, this team is stacked. This team is really stacked. Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole, they're deep too. Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole, Danny Granger, Dwayne Wade, Luol Deng, Chris Bosh. And they also have some other big men that they acquired, but I can't remember at this moment. But let's go on to the Charlotte Hornets. So I expect Miami to be anywhere from the 1, 2, or 3 seed. Obviously fighting with Chicago and Cleveland in the Eastern Conference. Let's go on with the Charlotte Hornets. Lance Stevenson. They got Lance Stevenson, Al Jefferson, Kemba Walker. What's that dude's name? Gerald Henderson. So now they actually have offense besides, Al Jefferson and Kemba Walker scoring like 11 points per game, 8 points per game, something like that. But yeah, so Al Jefferson's going to have some help on the offensive end now. Lance Stevenson is going to be him and Jefferson's team. They're going to be a great team. I say 5th, maybe 4th or 5th seed at most, at least 6th seed. But they're going to be a solid team. I don't think they're in contention just yet for the NBA title, but they'll be there in a couple years if they continue to rebuild and just build around Al Jefferson and 24-year-old Lance Stevenson. But anyway, so let's talk about my favorite New York Knicks. Now, yes, we got Phil Jackson, Derek Fisher in our front office. We're going to supposedly run the triangle offense, but this has been my problem for the last 3 years. 2 years, actually. Amar'e Stoudemire. We're paying Amar'e Stoudemire, I think it was like a 4 or 5 year, $100 million contract, right? It doesn't make sense. Why are we paying the dude so much? He hasn't averaged 20 since his first season with us. He's been injured ever since. He had a player option to opt out. For some reason he didn't, because he just wants the money, and it's just like, that's why our team sucks. We're wasting so much money on Amar'e Stoudemire when what we should have done from the first place is build around Carmelo Anthony instead of build around Stoudemire. If you don't know, Stoudemire came to the Knicks before Carmelo Anthony did. And yes, I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm bashing on them right now because I'm pissed off. Stoudemire came to the Knicks before Melo. Melo came February 2011. Building around Stoudemire for the last couple of years, even though Melo's been averaging like 28 with the Knicks for the last 3 years. Except for his first year, he averaged like 22. But he was injured too. But anyway, so this team has no depth at all. Jose Calderon, Samuel Dalembert. We lost Tyson Chandler, Melo, Amon Shumpert, Tim Hardaway Jr., and J.R. Smith. Too much in the front court. We need more backcourt. We need, too much in the backcourt. We need more front court. We need more big men. Samuel Dalembert and Amar'e Stoudemire. That's all I can see. We have a bunch of no-name rookies. I apologize for being mean, but we have a bunch of no-name rookies, and it just doesn't make sense in my opinion. And then you have Clay Anthony, a rookie, Larkin, a rookie. This doesn't make sense. Too many guards. We have Tim Hardaway Jr., Amon Shumpert, and J.R. Smith at the 2 guard. Doesn't make sense. So what I think they should do, get rid of Stoudemire next year. I think his contract's over next year or the year after. Get rid of him and build around Carmelo Anthony. We should have done that a long time ago, but it's all good. We should have done that like 1 or 2 years ago, but it's all good. Before they extended Stoudemire's contract, we should have built around Melo. But hopefully Phil Jackson realizes that and builds around him. And this team has no depth at all, guys. No depth, no rotations, no defense. It's not going to be a great year for the New York Knicks, and if it is, you know, they'll surprise me. I'm a New York Knicks fan. I love the Knicks. I love Carmelo Anthony, one of my favorite players of all time. In all honesty, this podcast is about being honest, and I just don't think they're going to be good. Let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks. Looks about right. They look great. Not great, but average, you know. They look all right. Al Jefferson is finally, you know, I think they're going to trade Al Jefferson. I mean, not Al Jefferson, excuse me, Al Horford. He's been with the Hawks for a while when they had Joe Johnson. He's been with him. But I think they're going to trade Al Horford. I don't know who they're going to try to acquire, but maybe they can try and get some point guards because they need some point guards. But they still have Kyle Korver, but that's pretty much it. They're an average roster. Solid defensive team, solid offensive team. Nothing really special about them. Now let's talk about the Detroit Pistons. Oh my God, this team is going to surprise a lot of you this year. I say maybe 6th or 7th seed. Andre Drummond, Greg Monroe, best front court right now in the Eastern Conference. They're going to be great. They also got Brandon Jennings. Let's see, who else do they got? Well, actually, Andre Drummond and Greg Monroe have been working with Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning. So this is crazy. So I'm excited to see how this is gonna play out because they're trying to build like a Dwight Howard because Stan Van Gundy is their head coach now. Y'all remember he coached Orlando back in 07 to 2011, I think. And I just want to see because they're trying to build something like they had with Dwight Howard and Jameer Nelson on the Orlando Magic. So let's talk about the Indiana Pacers, the most stupid team in the NBA in my opinion, for trading away Danny Granger for Evan Turner, who again nobody wants to sign because he's not a great player. I don't know why they would make that decision to trade away Evan Turner. Does not make sense. Dumbest decision in the last 10 years in basketball, in my opinion. Now the reason why I say that is he was injured, so why would you trade someone that used to average 24 for your team away? Now they're going to be a complete trash team because Lance Stevenson left. Oh my gosh, don't even let me talk about this bum Roy Hibbert. He had like 3 0-point games in the playoffs last season. Paul George is great, but he's injured. Frank Vogel's a great coach, but they have no depth. They have no depth on their team. They should have never traded away Danny Granger. And I told my friend Tyler this. It would come back to bite them in the ass, and it did. Because now they just feel so dumb. Now they have no one. I don't know why they would do that. Evan Turner, really. I think he's out with Boston now. So they traded away Danny Granger for what? You know, he could have came back. He wouldn't have been the same 24 and 5, Danny Granger that we were used to seeing. But he could have been like at least 18 points per game. Now you don't even have a scorer. Who are you going to go to? Roy Hibbert? Mr. Flop? Mr. Choke? 0 points? 3 times in the playoffs last year? Get out of here, man. I don't even think Indiana's going to make the playoffs with Paul George injured. Let's go ahead with the Sacramento Kings. Oh my, DeMarcus Cousins, one of the most underrated big men in the league. He averaged like 22 and 12 last year, 22 and 11. He's going to be great. They're going to be a great team. Not great, but they're going to be solid. Hopefully, DeMarcus Cousins goes to the All-Star game this year. Because he deserves it. Just he hasn't played on a great team. I don't think they're playoff ready yet, but they could be a 7 or 8 seed, possibly. Let's go ahead with the Minnesota Timberwolves with Andrew Wiggins and Zach LaVine. Okay, let's see. Ricky Rubio, head coach, Flip Saunders. They're looking all right, but they have Andrew Wiggins, Zach LaVine, 2 rookies, and plus these 2 rookies are really great friends. So there's no mash about who's going to be, the next big thing. They're good friends. They worked out together before they made it in the NBA, and they're still working out together, and now they're on the same team. So they're looking solid. I say Minnesota will probably be 9th or 8th in the West, depending on how well Andrew Wiggins can play, depending on how well Zach LaVine can play. Zach LaVine, you need to be in the NBA dunk contest. Hopefully you do, so LeBron James can get in it because you are a great dunker, my friend. Anyway, so they're going to be a solid team. Ricky Rubio, overrated piece of crap in my opinion. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay. The difference between a player like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. LeBron James can carry a team to the NBA Finals with Eric Snow, Larry Hughes, Drew Gooden, and Daniel Marshall in the starting lineup. Mostly no names, right? Larry Hughes was solid at one point in his career, but mostly no names. Eric Snow was old too, but mostly no names, right? So you have that. And then you have Kobe Bryant, who was 26 years old, couldn't even carry his team to the playoffs 2 years in a row. And he had a crap team. Yeah, he did. He had Smush Parker. I understand he had a crap team. LeBron did. He took Cleveland to playoffs 4 years in a row, I would say, when he had a crap team. Carried them to the Eastern Conference Finals. Carried them to the NBA Finals. And then he carried, he had a solid team in 2008-09 when they had 66-16 record. 2009-2010 when they were 61-21. So how do you expect 36-year-old Kobe to be able to lift the Los Angeles Lakers to the postseason now when he couldn't do it when he was 26? That's the difference between LeBron and Kobe Bryant. LeBron James makes his teammates better. Kobe Bryant is more of an offensive superstar. Yes, he's a great defender, but I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. That's the difference between LeBron and Melo too. KD and Melo. LeBron and KD make their teammates better, but LeBron James is on a whole nother level in terms of that. And that's why he's the best player in the world. Anyway, so Kobe Bryant, obviously, in my opinion, top 3 player of all time. No doubt about it. I don't care what you guys say. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. Right now, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, Dwayne Wade, hopefully will be on that list. Melo, list keep going on and on. I know Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem. The list goes on, guys. I know, okay? I'm not saying that that's all I think are the greatest, but that's right now we're talking about modern players. So, Kobe Bryant, he's going to average around 25 points per game. Season before he was injured, he averaged 28. And people are saying, did you see where they ranked Kobe Bryant? He was number 40. He was 40. They're saying he's the 40th best player in the NBA. Are you? Get out of here. ESPN is a joke for that. Are you serious? Even when injured, you can't tell me 39 players better than Kobe Bryant. There's no way. Okay, I know he's aged, but guys, 2 years ago when he was 34, he averaged 28 points per game. So what do you think now, 2 years later? You guys have to understand that Kobe Bryant is a different type of player than LeBron James. Or Kevin Durant. This is why players like Melo and Kobe last a long time, and players like Dwayne Wade don't. Melo and Kobe, what do they use to score? Footwork, size, and pure raw talent and skill. They use their footwork to create space, they post up, and they shoot the ball. Unlike players like Dwayne Wade, driving the basketball, getting hit all the time, no jump shot. That's why Dwayne Wade didn't think about it, because now he's getting older. He doesn't have the speed that he used to have. Just the same way with Kobe and Melo. Somehow LeBron James has learned how to defy the age, the clock of time. But besides the point is Kobe and Melo are going to last a long, long time. This is why I'm saying Kevin Durant needs to get stronger and get a post game. Because sooner or later, he's going to age and he's weak. He's not like, he's fragile and weak, but he's not, he's like 25 pounds, 30 pounds. So he needs to get to at least 240, 250. Obviously, you don't want to be too heavy when you're older, but, he needs to get a post game or footwork. Because now he just uses raw talent. He just throws the ball up. This dude is a beast, okay? Kevin Durant is going to be one of the best players in NBA history. But the point is, Kobe and Melo are going to outlast KD and Dwayne Wade. And they already did. I don't know about LeBron because this guy, I don't know what this guy eats, drinks, whatever he does. But this guy takes care of his body. He's just built for basketball. and his body somehow he's never been injured seriously. Missed a couple of games, but never like critical injury. It's just I don't know, man. It's crazy. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics, the team that I hate because they always used to beat my New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers when LeBron used to be with them, and that's one of the reasons why I think LeBron James left Cleveland also when he first did, because he couldn't beat the Celtics. He could never get past the Celtics. And it had to get annoying, 2008, lose to the Celtics. 2009, lose to the Magic. 2010, lose to the Celtics. So LeBron and Wade were tired of losing to the Celtics. Bosh wasn't even make the playoffs. They were like, let's team up and beat the Boston Celtics. And they did. They did. Now, split up the big three, split up that dynasty that was in Boston, and now look at Boston now. LeBron, I applaud him for that because he really did what he was supposed to do. Destroy the Boston Celtics. I don't like him. Anyway, let's talk about them. Rajon Rondo. He's going to be traded. I'm pretty sure he's going to be traded. And Rondo, obviously, eventually he'll be back to his level that he used to be. But I think he's kind of a selfish type player. Like, I think he only passes the ball like he does just so it looks good in the box score. Because he's really not that great of a player. He can't shoot. He's a great rebounder, defender, but he can't shoot the basketball. So if you have a team built around him, you're going to have a lot of shooters. And that's tough to find now because the shooting game has declined so much over the years. But let's keep going. So I say Boston, they're not going to make the playoffs, obviously. The Utah Jazz, one of my favorite, Gordon Hayward. All right, let's talk about this. So they got Ernest Cantor, Derek Favors, Dante Exum, the rookie from Australia, Gordon Hayward, Alec Burks. They look solid. Oh, they also have Trey Burke, by the way. So they have Trey Burke, Gordon Hayward, Alec Burks, Ernest Cantor, Derek Favors, and the rookie who has potential to be an all-star / superstar, Dante Exum. I say they'll probably be 6th, 7th, or 8th in the Western Conference. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they have a solid team. Need a little bit more depth. I wish Jerry Sloan never retired. I wish he would have continued to coach this team because he really would have made this team a 4th, 5th seed team, but it's all good. Let's go ahead with the Orlando Magic. The bums. They're bums. Aaron Gordon. Yeah, Rookie of the Year. Season, I don't know if he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but anyway, Victor Oladipo, Mo Harkless, and that's pretty much it, in my opinion. And Aaron Gordon and Chandler Fry. They're going to be terrible like last year, in my opinion. So there's no need to even sit here and talk about them. Milwaukee Bucks, they're going to be trash. All they have is the Greek Freak and Jabari Parker, who has potential to be a beast. But besides that, they're going to be butt cheeks. Philadelphia 76ers. Nobody's talking about them. But I think Michael Carter-Williams. I heard they were trying to trade Michael Carter-Williams back in, I think it was May or June. So I don't know what's going on with them. They were the worst team in the league last year. Michael Carter-Williams was Rookie of the Year last year, so I don't know why they would try to trade him. That's why the team is ass now. But that's it, man. They're not going to make the playoffs. Overall, I feel like... Now let's talk about who's going to win MVP. It's going to be a tough one. As much as I would like Melo to win MVP, it's not going to happen. His team isn't good enough. Let's see. Who else is MVP contender? Pretty much, in my opinion, it's just between LeBron and KD. In all honesty, that's what it's going to be for the next 5 years. Next 5 years, honestly. LeBron and KD. So, it's going to go to LeBron this year. KD's injured for the first month and a half. But not only that, LeBron's back in Cleveland. He's going to go off like he used to back in Cleveland. It's going to be, Dunk City, Lob City. It's going to be crazy. But who do I suspect to be? All right, let me go. All right, Eastern Conference. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference. First seed, Chicago Bulls. Second seed, Miami Heat. Third seed, Cleveland Cavaliers. Fourth seed, Charlotte Hornets. That's what I'm thinking right now. Do you guys agree with those first four? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to make this. Toronto Raptors 5th. Maybe Detroit 6th. Brooklyn 7th. And Knicks or Hawks at 8. Now, Washington. I forgot Washington. Washington will be around 5 or 6. But the reason why I can't say the Knicks will be top 3rd in the East like they were in 2012, they've ruined the team. No depth. Look, man, I love the New York Knicks to death, but it's just not. It's not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna be a great year this year. I've watched preseason games; they're not looking great. But I have faith in my baby, my Knicks. Let's go, Knicks. Anyway, in the comment section below, tell me who is your favorite team in the NBA. But let's talk about the Western Conference. Number one. Damn, this is tough. This is gonna be real tough. Number one, the San Antonio Spurs. Number two, oh man, I'm gonna say Dallas. Dallas is really gonna surprise a lot of people. Number three, OKC. Number four, Portland. Number four, Portland. Number five, Golden State. Number six. Oh man, this is so tough. Honestly, it's tougher than you guys think it is. Number six, Houston. Number seven, Phoenix, and number 8, the Pelicans. I want the Grizzlies to be well, but I don't think it's gonna happen. That's it. I think I didn't leave anyone out. I put Golden State in there. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be great. I feel like LeBron's probably gonna average 27.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, maybe like 10 assists for the first time in his career. He did it in the playoffs once though. But like, I think LeBron, imagine he averaged a triple-double this year. Do you guys think if LeBron averaged a triple-double and won the NBA MVP and the Finals MVP and won the championship, obviously you need to win the championship to win the MVP in the Finals, do you guys think that he could be considered the best of all time? I do. I think, oh man, I want to say something, but I feel like LeBron James is going to go down as the best NBA player of all time. The guy is on a whole nother level. But yeah, so that's what I feel. And I feel Eastern Conference Finals, that's tough, man, because there's 3 teams that are so good, you know? Man, I'm going to have to say Cleveland versus Miami just because I'm uncertain about Derrick Rose right now. And I don't know how the team's going to function without Derrick Rose. Yeah, they have Aaron Brooks and Kirk Heinrich, and they're really deep. But I don't know. I'm just going to go with Miami versus Cleveland. And I'm going to say that's tough, man. It's really tough. Oh, my. Part of me wants to pick Cleveland because I really like LeBron. And if you look at it, but Miami has better depth, but they have Kevin Love, Kyrie, LeBron. I'm going to have to go with Miami just because of the depth that this team has. A lot of people just don't think they're going to be good, but if you think about it, their depth is crazy. And I say in the Western Conference Finals, San Antonio and Dallas, and possibly, obviously, it's probably going to be San Antonio again. And in the finals, will Miami get their revenge? I don't think so. San Antonio Spurs, I feel like, may have the chance to repeat. I have some doubts, but they probably will. So MVP this year, in my opinion, LeBron James. Defensive Player of the Year this year, either LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Joakim Noah, or, yeah, that's it. So for MVP, LeBron James. Defensive Player of the Year is between 3 players: Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Joakim Noah. I hope LeBron finally wins once because they gave it to Michael Jordan once, and LeBron James is a better defender, so they need to give it to LeBron James. He can guard any position. There's never been anyone in NBA history that could have done that besides Oscar Robertson, partly. So yeah, Most Improved Player of the Year. That's tough. Oh, man. I feel like possibly, I don't know. I'm going to let you guys decide. Tell me in the comment section below who you think is going to be the most improved player this year in the 2014-2015 NBA season. Coach of the Year is going to go to either Greg Popovich, Rick Carlisle, the Dallas Mavericks, or, wait, who's coaching Dallas again? Rick Carlisle, right? Yeah, I think so. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section below, and I apologize for that. But I think it's Rick Carlisle. And it's either that, Eric Spoelstra, Greg Popovich, Rick Carlisle, or Chicago's head coach or Cleveland's head coach. I can't remember their names right now. But, yeah. And who's going to have the best record in the league this year? It's either going to be Cleveland. Damn, that's tough. Cleveland. I already put the rankings, but it's going to be tough. And the reason why I put my rankings like Chicago 1, Miami 2, Cleveland 3, because I don't know how to place it, but I think Miami might make the finals again, or it's either Miami or Chicago. I don't think Cleveland's going to do it this year, in all honesty, but I have my hopes. So, best records, it's either going to be Cleveland, Chicago, or San Antonio. And that's going to do it, guys. I'm excited for this season. It's going to be really exciting. Lots of players moved around. More teams are getting better, and it's going to look good. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe to this channel. Show your support to Eat, Sleep, Sports, because we eat, we sleep, and we sport. I love y'all. Peace.